Okay, immediately getting into it. I have zero time to waste. We are talking about self-comparison in the eyes of social media and my tips and my ways to try to keep myself off of that, as well as how I've been feeling lately. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have a different setup today. I'm trying to make it as cozy and fun and just sleepover-esque as possible. So I'm really enjoying it. I just laughed for the past hour straight because I've been watching Danny Gonzalez, but specifically his second channel. No hate to his first channel, but his second channel is just like, I don't know what it is. It's just so much funnier, and I cannot stop laughing. I was actually choking on Nutella. I told my sister that too. I was like, dude, I think I need to stop watching him alone because I'm actually going to choke to death. I'm going to have to learn how to give myself a Heimlich. But today I've been having an interesting day. I had a day where I was just feeling down, just naturally not feeling as good with myself. And it's not because of anything super specific. It's not something that somebody said to me or something that happened. It's just all of these thoughts about self-image that have been coming up. Before I want to get into that though, I just want to show you guys my little space. So I changed everything up a bit in my house, and I've had so many different setups with my house. I've had it where my bed was over in that way, and now I switched it back over here, and then I had my table and chairs over here, and that switched it up so many times. And that's something that I've always done wherever I've lived, wherever I've been. I've always loved changing up my space, especially my bedroom. But now that I have like full house space, and I want to say a full house as in I have a couch and a table of chairs and a bed, so it's like one giant bedroom. There's so many more possibilities on what you can do, especially once you have only one set of windows in a very specific area. It's very easy to bring stuff around and move it all. But I finally gave myself these little lights and this canopy bed-esque vibe. I'll insert a clip of what my canopy bedroom looks like right now and how content I am with it and how happy I am. It feels so cozy and warm in this space, and I never want to leave. I genuinely never want to leave. And I have a little Queenie, and she's sitting on my couch right now in a little fort that I made her, and she looks so adorable. So I'm just really happy with that, and it's putting me in a good mood, especially with this filming location. Something with this podcast I've always been wanting to do is just make it feel like a sleepover, and we're just joining in and we're hanging out and we're just chatting. We're chatting about real stuff. We're being real. We're not straying away from things that are uncomfortable and difficult to talk about. We're just talking, and we're talking about whatever I want to talk about or whatever you guys want to hear about. Let me know if you want to hear about anything else specific. But yeah, we're not faking stuff. And something I'm also really wanting to bring to the podcast is more reality in what I look like. So instead of getting ready for a podcast and doing a full beat, I just want to show up. And this is exactly how I just wanted to show up. I came out of the bath. I watched way too much. Not even way too much. Honestly, I've been laughing, and I was in a bad mood today, so I'm really glad I got to laugh. So much Danny Gonzalez. He's so fucking funny. He's not even making videos about anything important, and that's why I love it so much, is because it's kind of just like, I want to be nice, but like it's just crap content. Like he's just talking about stupid videos in pop culture. Probably one of my favorite videos now. I watched this, I was laughing so hard, was the movie about uglies. So funny. He's so funny. Anyway, very funny man. And I'm just filming right away. I don't want to get ready. I'm not doing anything specific. I'm not doing makeup. And it's funny because in the past I used to do that. It's not like I filmed that many videos in my lifetime or been that consistent. But when I was younger, I would absolutely get ready. I'd put on a specific outfit. I'd make my hair look a certain way. But nowadays I think that it's so much more important just to show up and be a part of the camera. I don't know how that changed. I'm not saying I'm never going to get ready for a video again. Of course, I still want to feel my best. But I think there's something so fun about being naturally confident in the way you are. And it's something I want to encourage for viewers too, is to just be who you are and accept who you are, because there's nothing wrong with not wearing makeup. There's nothing wrong with not wearing a specific shirt. I'm wearing this old thrifted t-shirt that I've had for a long time. Honestly, it is one of my favorites. And I'm just here in my bed. We're chatting. We're doing a little sleepover thing. So how I've been feeling really lately. Today, not great. Within the past, I think it was 5 hours, I've just been feeling low. I've been starting a new medication, so I know it's been breaking me out, and I know it's not been making me feel very well healthy-wise, and I just feel bloated and gross. I know that comparatively to what the worst possibility is or what I've ever been before, it's actually not that bad. It just makes me feel not great when I don't feel like I'm a perfection version. And I wanted to talk about this. I don't really have very much background or very much that I've asked myself before I filmed this video. And sometimes I do ask myself questions or I prep stuff. And I do always have something prepped so I can look over to it and get with my notes and speak on something that I like really do want to share with the viewers. But a majority of the time, I just get off whatever is on my mind. I just wasn't feeling good. And I've been thinking about the next couple of days. Nothing important out of a craziness is going to happen. But I also know that I'm working the next few days. And it has not been helping with self-image. I don't know what it is. Like, there's nothing. It's not like I'm going on vacation. It's not like I'm, hanging out with friends in a certain way or going out or whatever it is. There's no first dates or whatever. It's just I'm not feeling great. And I'm aware about the fact that I'm going to be in spaces that I want to feel confident. I want to feel my best, especially when I'm at work, especially when I'm around the people that I love, especially when I'm out in public too. And it's interesting because on this podcast, I am the most public version of myself. I have no idea how you guys are reacting to these videos. I don't know if people are disliking it and they say I hate it. I don't know if people click off within the first 5 seconds because they're like, oh my God, I hate that bitch fucker. Sorry, Dad. First time. I'm really trying nowadays too because I'm like, oh, I want my dad to enjoy the videos because I know my parents are the #1 supporters. So I don't want them to hate it. Anyway. I don't know if people hate these videos. And it's interesting that I'm so much more confident in the camera because I wish you guys could see what my setup is right now. Maybe I'll show you after. I'm going to show you. This is my setup. I have nothing of specifically full movie setup. I have my alarm clock. I have my lamp just for lighting. I have my laptop for notes. And then other than that, my bed is just the way that it already was. And it's so interesting that I can sit here and speak to a camera knowing that this is going to get uploaded, knowing it's going to be on the internet basically forever because anything on the internet stays on the internet. And I'm significantly more confident than I would be in an in-person space. Well, not significantly more confident. I think I could be really equal, but it's interesting that I'm thinking about those in-person spaces being like, how am I going to feel? What am I going to look like? All this different stuff and just not feeling like good. And it's not just about being in person. Of course, it's just general self-confidence. I want to feel good. And I think that I don't want to always chalk everything up to social media and be like, fuck it, that's the worst. But I also want to say that me consuming any content on social media doesn't help. And I feel like I can just reiterate it more and more and more on how it doesn't make me feel good. Right before I was going to watch Danny's videos today, I'm about to get on my laptop, and usually when I get my laptop, it's my time to be like, you can unwind your brain for a bit, go scroll, go check on what people said, whatever. My phone, as we all know, is a little baby phone, and I don't really do anything on it. The most that I do on this thing is check emails, and that's only if I have a package coming or if I have something really important on there. But then other than that, I'm on Spotify. Like, I'm consistently just on Spotify, sometimes my banking app, nothing overly exciting on my phone. Sometimes I'll text back my mom on there. But a majority of the times, everything I'm doing is on my bigger devices. And so whenever I get on my bigger device, which is also becoming a little bit more of an addiction than I want to. Sorry. See, literally right now I'm answering Stella. I don't need to be right now, but also, wait, what was the reel she sent me? 1 second. Sorry, now I have to answer Stella. Fuck, what was I saying? When I am on these big devices, I notice myself sneaking over to Instagram a lot. That's the first thing that I'll search up. I'll go into the Google, I'll just search Instagram, I'll find out what I can do, and I'll just be scrolling. And I notice myself whenever I'm on there, I'm always second guessing. And it's unfortunate that I'm doing a lot of this on Pinterest too. Pinterest feels more like an artsy sort of area where you can pick your vibe, pick your aesthetic, and just whatever you like about it, you can do with that. But on Pinterest too, there's still so much of a comparison, and it's pushing towards you on how you're supposed to look a certain way and supposed to feel a certain way. And it can really bite. And what's really interesting that I've wanted to talk about is on how confidence changes. I feel like when I was going through puberty, I obviously wasn't feeling my best. Not only were my hormones going everywhere, but I was breaking out more and I'm more focused on the way my body looks. And this is also when you're getting into high school. So you're interested in dating and you're interested in that whole scene of trying to feel the prettiest and look the prettiest and popularity and all of that stuff. There's so much with high school that feels like you have to be specifically a certain perfect way or else you're unacceptable. And so I was really self-critical and not terrible to myself, but I wasn't great. I was self-critical for sure. And so coming out of that and finally becoming more adult and not necessarily just glowing up and looking 1,000 times better, although I will say I do look better than I did in high school. I was just also becoming so much less focused on the way I look and more on just the world and how things are working and what I'm supposed to be getting done and university and other people in a different city. There's just so much more for me to look at. There's so much less time for me to just stand in the mirror and hate or just to have a self-critical eye. And so once within my 19th and 20th year, I've really taken a big step up of confidence and a big step up of being more comfortable in myself and being just less self-critical for sure. I'm focused on so many other things. And so then when you come back from that and then you go back into a critical space, it can be really tough. It really can. And I think that's such a silly sounding transition of an issue, but it is because you get so used to a certain habit of being critical when you're younger and being very aggressive towards yourself and forcing yourself to look a certain way, even though maybe it isn't you and maybe it's not your natural version, but you need to be something and it's so important that you force it. And then you get to a place where you're like, but that actually doesn't matter as much as I thought I did. It doesn't mean anything. Of course, there are days when I want to feel great and I want to try out different aesthetics or different looks or outfits or whatever. But a majority of the time, I'm just happy being me and I'm content with it. And you're enjoying all of these amazing things that life has to offer. And then you come back there and it just feels like it hits you again. And it's hard to go back because it's hard to get out. Because I knew that the first time. But I think what's really important to ask yourself is what even is the perfect standard? I'm sure if I were to ask you that question, you could list off a bunch of different things that you immediately think of. For me, what comes to mind, and I'm just going to be so frank about this because I want this to feel like a really open conversation, are all of the things that I've noticed that I don't have. And it's sad. And of course, there's some things about myself that I'm like, oh no, that is a part of the perfect combination. But things like a really sharp jawline, but very light top cheeks. I've always noticed this about myself, and I was speaking with my friend Stella about this the other day, and the reason I love her so much, or one of the reasons I love her so much, is because we're very honest. It doesn't feel like we ever had to ask each other if we could be honest. It doesn't feel like we've ever really walked around the topic before we could get there, and I've had that with friendships before, and I just hated it, where I feel like I have to suss it out, then I say something that's a bit honest, and then I go, oh my god, wait, they are mad at me, I should take that back. So Stella, we can just talk, and I love that. And she was saying something, I was talking about, this was months ago, about how when I was little, I was like, when I was born, I was given this cutest baby award. And I was just speaking to her about this little thing that I had. And she's like, oh, I see that because of the really big cheeks. And that's always been something for me that I went back and forth with, being very confident about and loving that I have a rounder, fuller smile and a fuller face. And then there's been times where I go, that's really embarrassing for me because all the hot girls, all the models out there have very sharp, thin jawlines where you can really see the definition and you can do a certain model face and it's very statuesque. One of my other friends and Stella herself have that shape to their face. And so there's that comparison. But even with knowing that one thing, why am I even going with this? And I know that those are things that I've looked at with myself and gone, oh, I don't like that about me, or oh, I wish it could have been like this, or how can I change it so that I can look more this way, so that I can have that very sharp jawline and have that face look that everybody else has. And why was I saying this? But I think the thing to question is, what makes that the perfect version? What makes that the most ideal? Of course, there's the history with it that we could get into on why models started with a look like this and how it's progressed over time and how the patriarchy works and how everybody's more comfortable with this, whatever. I'm sure there's something we can get to on about a literal reason, but sort of rhetorically, I'm asking, what makes you think that you aren't perfect enough because one other person has that? And why do you have to look at yourself with such a critical look? Because when I really get down to it, I love that I have a full smile. When I'm smiling, you fucking know. Sorry, Dad. You definitely know. I'm not that kind of person who's sort of subtly smiling. There's another person that I know that I work with that I can never tell if she's smiling. Some of the time she looks like she's having a good time and sometimes she doesn't. And I sound like I'm hating on her. Love that girl, love the most for her, and I'm happy that she gets to enjoy herself. And I really hope these are aspects that she loves about herself. But actually, you know what? I lied. That does sound like comparison. That sounds like terrible comparison. But that's another thing. I'm catching myself even doing that. Without even thinking about it, I'm seeing them going, you are comparing. No matter how many times I tell myself, oh, I'm not, I'm over that. That's a thing of the past. No, actually, naturally, without a doubt, I'm even thinking about another person to compare to say that I actually do have something better because I love it about myself and she probably shouldn't. That's fucking terrible. The whole point of my conversation or this podcast right now is to just prove that it almost doesn't matter what you do and what you tell yourself. You're still going to have some form of aspect of yourself that puts yourself into that. I'm just tell you guys that I appreciate something about myself, I have to hate on a different girl. That sucks. Essentially, though, I do really like my smile, and I've learned to love it, so I just wanted to say that. I'm just wondering how much of my self-worth is tied to the way that I am perceived, rather than feeling like I'm worthy because I have a good smile, because I'm smart, because I'm motivated, because I spread myself across the board and do all these different fun things, because I'm whatever the hell, fill in the blanks. Does any of that even matter if somebody else isn't perceiving it that way? Does it only matter because me as somebody is perceiving myself as that way? Or does it matter just because it does? And that's the thing too, is this weekend, I know genuinely I cannot convey to you that nothing special is happening other than the fact that I'm working. And that's great. I'm working great shifts. But you just get up in your head about it and see yourself in a certain way of being, well, I have to hate on this and like this so that I can be perfection, so that somebody else can see me for 2 seconds and perceive me as perfect. And then I like won. And like, finally I can get that approval from somebody else that I matter and I matter more than a couple other girls and I am a valuable top person. Just, I don't know, it's just something that I'm really dealing with. And I think what's really interesting and funny about this is the video I watched, the Danny Gonzalez rating the movie Uglies, which was such a stupid movie. And it was so funny because it was stupid. The whole premise of this movie is that these kids, it's kind of like Divergent, it's almost identical to Divergent. When they're 16, they find out, no, they don't find out. They sort of are forced to be put in this surgery and fix what's ugly about them so they become a perfect person. And it's like the whole idea of the movie and everything is actually really stupid. But now it's making me really want to watch the movie. But I think that put it in my head about being, well, you're supposed to be turned perfect. That's a part of your life, is working towards that standard. And for the summer, I have so many goals and I'm so excited to experience spring and summer again, especially being able to live in my own place because I haven't fully been able to do that. And in the location that I'm living, I'm really loving right now. So I just want to go out and enjoy every single aspect about it. Then I'm putting all these different expectations. Oh, I want these certain outfits for the summer. I want to be able to have, and some things too that I think is interesting is that it's spreading out from not just me. I want these specific clothes. I want my house to feel a certain way. I want to be able to have certain school projects done. I want to be able to have this. For what? There is no teacher or adjudicator or anybody who's going to come and say, you are good or you are bad because you finished this course by the time summer came around. No one. Not a single fucking person cares if I finish this course at all except me. Even the tutor that I have, because I do school online, she's lovely, but she basically has zero idea it exists. I email her once every month and I go, hey, would you mind giving me the open unlock permission to take this test? That's all she has to do is go and unlock it for me. We don't talk. We don't care about each other, but still I'm thinking, I hope she's okay and life is good for her. But we have no communication and yet still I'm thinking, oh, I actively have to go out of my way to perfect this one thing and make sure this course is done just so that my summer can be good. It's like, girl, your summer can be good either way, baby girl. I wonder if this is just a singularly me moment. This is an issue that I'm dealing with just for me. I know for a fact that it isn't. I know that there's many other people out there who are experiencing self-doubt and being self-conscious and very self-critical the same way that I have, because I've had many conversations with people about this. Not overtly, but it's came up. But why do I specifically, because this is my issue, feel like I have to perform to be liked? Why do I feel like I have to show up in such a way that is a version and my version of a perfect version so that everybody else is accepting? I don't think I realized how dehydrated I was. Holy shit. I had 2 coffees today and a tea, and it just dehydrates you sometimes. I have been pissing all day. I'm going to be so honest, I have peed so much today. But yet, I'm like, I could go through another 2 of these. This is a liter. Damn. And I was saying earlier, what's interesting is I feel more confident online. Interestingly. I feel more confident when I am sharing what I think and sharing what I believe and standing by it and just having fun on screen and being able to post these kinds of videos. Sorry. And be engaging and have a good time here. I really do feel really good. But interestingly enough, I don't necessarily feel more confident performing because I'm in my acting class right now and I haven't talked about it too much. That's a lie. I completely talked about it for half of my last YouTube video. But I haven't talked about the last class that I went to. We did monologues. And it actually went really decent for what I guess we could have expected. But I did not feel that confident on that stage. Frankly, I felt not like unconfident. Fuck, my camera's gonna die. Hold on. Let's hope that charging works really well. When I was on the stage doing my monologues, I did not feel more confident. I felt like everybody was really staring at me and being very critical, which was true. Because I was being critical of everybody else, so of course they were doing the same. I'm just so curious about this topic. I just want to talk about this and discuss it. And the reason that I'm so curious about discussing it on social media and being able to be very overt about it to anybody who clicks on this video is because I want you guys to also question about yourself. And I'm not just talking about it to be like, oh, well, this is why and I hate this. It's more to be able to discuss, oh, it's super interesting that I feel just as confident as I do on my prettiest day as I do on camera with no makeup. Why do I feel like I am glowing so much whenever? Maybe because there's so many lights around me and I am glowing, but also because I'm really enjoying this. I just think it's fun to talk about, and I think that it's useful to make a conversation rather than always hiding these things, because there's so much that we don't talk about that we should be talking about, because it's less deep. The more you speak about it, the more lighthearted it feels. I am now realizing that I am making this video very long, so I'm going to make 2 parts to this. This is going to be the first part of this, and I will post the second part most likely sometime this week because I don't want this video to go too long. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and go check out the second part to finish this video.